Yeah, so I was running with so his name is Wes, and me and him we probably did the first 10 to 13 miles together. But we're maybe pushing 8.5, 9 minute pace for the first half marathon, and that was not my
Holy
goal.
moly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was not my goal. I was like, I was looking more like 10, 11 minute pace, just kind of just survive this thing since it's my first time. And that's when I asked him, I was like, so how long have you guys been training for this? They're like, oh, since like last June, last July, for 6, 7 months. I'm like, oh, I've only been going for like a month and a half. So you guys go ahead. You know what you're
Uh,
doing. I'm just going to stick back here and just fight my way through.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you
so,
slow yourself down,
yeah, I
take it
slowed
easy.
myself down and was just out there enjoying the day. And the next thing catch a nasty cramp in my leg at like mile
Ooh,
20, 21 ish. And I was like, oh God, I've never felt this before. Like, what do I do? So I just started hiking it out and tried to
okay.
run. And I'd run maybe like quarter, half mile. Then the cramp would come back. Then I would have to walk again. And
Ooh.
it hurt.
This is your host, Brendan, and you're listening to the Ordinary to Ultra podcast. This podcast is all about helping you run your first ultramarathon and beyond. Tune in to hear new and experienced ultra runners share how they got into running in the first place, what inspired them to run an ultra, training and race day tips, and the gripping story of their first ultramarathon. Prepare yourself to be inspired as you hear stories of grit, sometimes failure, but ultimately triumph when our guests finally cross the finish line. Hey, Diarra, thanks so much for being here with me today, man. Super excited to hear your story.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Sick, dude. To start off, I'd super appreciate it if you'd share with me and everyone listening just a little bit about you, like
Yeah.
how old you are, where you're from, what your family looks like, what you do for work, that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, I'm 30 years old. I'm originally from Illinois, about 15, 20 minutes from St. Louis. I live in Manitou Springs, Colorado now. I've been out here for about 6, 7 years now.
Sick.
I am a cook and a track coach here in Manitou. So cook a little bit of everything at my restaurant, and then I go and coach kids, well, the high school for track sprints. 'Cause I used to be a sprinter back in the day.
Oh, dang.
And then,
That's sick, man.
oh yeah, it's a nice little change up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, Dang. So you sprint and you long distance. Explain yourself.
yeah, yeah. So I was a 1-2-4 guy in college, and mainly a hurdler.
Okay. What
And
does 1-2-4 guy even mean? I don't even know.
100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter guy.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
All,
So
all of them. My
yep, yep.
goodness.
So
And hurdles.
anything over 400 meters, you couldn't have got paid me to run.
But that was back
That
then.
was back then.
You're,
Yeah,
yeah, you're a changed man.
right.
Um, what was your favorite of them, if you had one?
Probably the 400 hurdles.
Yeah,
It was a
400 hurdles. Dude,
tough
that's two
race.
times around the track, right?
Just one time.
Oh, that's one time. 800's two times.
Yeah.
Dang. Do the hurdles go all the way around, or is it just like certain sections that have the
Yeah,
hurdles?
it's about every 10 meters you'll come across the hurdles, every 10 to 15 meters on the 400s.
Yeah. Oh, including around the curve of the track?
Oh yeah.
Dang, man.
Yep, yep. So I'm actually training some kids now how to run over the hurdles and go around the curve at the same time.
Yeah. An
Yeah.
angle, like, I'd be messing myself up.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's where you see usually everybody fall as going around the curve because they don't know how to angle themselves going around. And like when they land straight up, and then they're going into the next lane and hitting the next
Yeah.
person and tumbling and.
Yeah, dude. That's tough.
Oh yeah, it's a tough race.
Man. Yeah, and today you still sort of do, I mean, do you compete in sprint sort of stuff still,
No,
or just as a coach?
yeah, just as a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
my sprinting competing
Dang.
days are over.
Gone.
Yeah,
You're only
those
30. I mean, you could
I could if I
maybe
really trained for it, but those guys are just insanely fast still.
just Bolt. Yeah, he's built for that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you teach and you help kids doing that, and you're mainly into long distance these days.
Yep.
Cool. And when did you move to Colorado? You mentioned you're in Colorado like
So it
right
would have
now.
been summer of 2018 is when I moved here.
Oh, sick. So yeah, that's
Getting pretty
man. That
seasoned.
feels like 2 seconds ago, but it's not anymore. It's
It
like
does. I still remember like yesterday I had my car just full of everything and driving across the country and
yeah, that's 6 years ago. Dang. Um, have you loved being in Colorado,
oh,
having like
absolutely love it.
trails? Are you next to the mountains, or are you
Yeah, I'm
in
actually
the flatter part?
in the mountains.
Oh, dang.
Oh yeah, I'm
You're
surrounded
what
with
was the
stuff.
town called
Manitou
again that you're in?
Springs.
Manitou Springs, Colorado.
And so if you ever
Let me
heard of
quick
like the
Google
Manitou
search.
Incline or Pikes Peak and stuff like that, I live
Oh
right
yeah.
across the street from all of it.
Dang, isn't Pikes Peak one of the tallest 14ers in Colorado, maybe?
One of
Maybe
them, I mean, it's
maybe
like
not.
I think 38th on the list for
Oh,
height
not
wise.
even.
No, no. Yes, it's still 14-1. I think 14-105 or something like that.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah, I think the
Is
highest is
this the
like
one with the stairs? What are these stairs
that's
that
the
I'm standing
Manitou
under?
Incline.
Dude, does it go all the way to the top
Yeah, yeah.
of
Up.
something?
Oh, so there's a summit at the top. So it's zero point 0.8 miles and you gain I want to say 22 to 2400 feet of vert in less than a mile.
Less than a mile, 0.8 miles, you said?
Yep, 0.88 is usually
Oh
what I get
my
on my watch.
goodness. That is gnarly.
Oh, it is no joke.
What is this? This is how you train for the hills.
Yep. Yeah, I
God
literally have everything
damn.
just walking distance from me, and it's perfect training out here.
Man, that's pretty sweet.
It's
Well,
even just
hopefully,
climbing to the top of Pikes. That's a 7,400 foot climb from down here all the way to the top of Pikes.
and that's where you'd start is
Pretty much right here
from
at my
pretty
apartment, and
much
then because they do the Pikes Peak
seriously.
Marathon,
Oh yeah.
that goes all the way to the top and back down.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh yeah, that race is
That's
no
a
joke.
that's a marathon distance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
Yep. Yeah.
Dude,
7,400 feet of climbing in the first 13 miles, and then straight down the mountain after that.
I'm trying to see what elevation are you at just at
So I live
in the
at
town?
6,500.
Yeah. Dang. And then you get up to 14
Yep.
going up that. It's a lot. It's a lot of elevation.
Yeah, and some people double it
Dang.
up on the weekends. They'll do the half marathon the day before, then the full marathon the day after.
Oh,
And it's
crazy.
like, rest in peace to your quads.
Yeah. And is that have you done anything like that? Have you done those before? And then did it kill your head? Like were you getting altitude problems or
So I've trained
not?
it for a race that I had on the western slope of Colorado in Uray.
Okay.
And because I had another high altitude race, I think the high point was like 13,600.
Uh-huh.
So I used that pretty much to train for that race. And normally I can do pretty well at that altitude because I've done a lot of hikes up there and kind of
Sick.
learned how to breathe and what I need to eat and drink and just to keep myself going.
Yeah. Man, that's cool, dude. Um, yeah, I'd love to make it to Colorado for some races someday. I'm only like 4 hours away, so I don't have good excuses. I just need to do it. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Thanks for sharing a bit about yourself and
Yeah.
where you're at and what you do. Love that you have track in your life still. Um, Now I'd like to explore when you got into running. If that was in high school or when you were a kid, or maybe it was later in life. I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. So like I said before, I was a sprinter way earlier in life, and basketball was my main love, so I was a two-sport college athlete for track and basketball.
Dang.
And then,
Busy.
oh yeah, man, talk about having no life, no friends, free
Yeah.
time, nothing, just gone every
Seriously?
time.
Was that I don't know how do you feel about that at the time, and then how do you feel about that now? I'm
At the
just
time, it
curious.
was fun, but once I got done and was able to actually like go out and socialize and travel and not have to worry about waking up at 7 a.m. for a game or a meet or anything, it was like, oh, this is what having a life is like. Like,
Dude.
this is nice. This is fun. I can go. I'm making new friends, and they're not all athletes. They're just normal people walking around. This is fun.
Dang. That's crazy, dude. What a
Oh yeah.
life.
But let's see. I picked up distance running a little bit over a year and a half ago.
Okay. So before we get there, you were running track in high school and in college, or
Yeah.
just high school?
Yep. High
Both.
school and college.
Okay. And then between college and now, did you do any running?
Oh no, nope. I was
No.
more of just more of like
Burned
a
out.
hiker. I was still playing basketball, and then I was playing
Okay.
sand volleyball and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Just like recreational volleyball and basketball, like for funsies
Recreational
or
basketball, and then I was doing semi-pro sand volleyball. So,
what?
oh yes, I was because I played in high school for a bit.
Oh, you did everything.
Yep, yep, yeah.
You did everything, man. Holy moly. Busy.
Yeah, I did everything pretty
That's
much
serious.
besides wrestling and soccer.
Yeah. Um, you should have done soccer. That's paired with running.
I feel like once I
Yeah,
tried it, I was just
long.
towering over everybody because I'm 6'2". So once I got out there, I was like, I might be too big for this sport. Like,
Gonna squish you guys.
yeah, might run you over. This like I've been playing football my whole life before that, and I was like, what? I'm gonna let you guys have soccer because I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah. DR comes in. You're
Yeah.
like running at people. Tackle soccer. Dang. Man, I was gonna ask you something. Yeah, did volleyball and basketball end recently, or are you still doing some of those things?
I was still playing basketball when I ruptured my Achilles, maybe like 2.5, 3 years ago now.
Okay, that's when you ruptured your Achilles. Okay,
Yeah.
freak.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
In basketball
Yep. Yeah.
or
I was just playing recreationally and was coming down from a rebound and heard it a big pop, and I was like, "Oh, did I just blow my shoes
oh
out?" And tried to
oh
stand up and fell right back down.
oh no, dude.
Yeah.
Did your Achilles, which is like the back of your heel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you land? How did you land?
I was just coming down from a rebound and just landed on my foot and how I normally would land, and I think just all the pressure through the years and
It just
just snapped.
was done.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, I was like trying to think like did your foot like snap sideways? But that would have been like a different problem probably. That would have been a different injury. But
Yeah.
your Achilles just by smacking down. That's crazy, dude.
Oh yeah. And
Um,
I had another friend, same thing. He was just coming down from a rebound and his Achilles just ruptured, straight ruptured.
what the
And I was
heck?
like, dude,
You
okay, I think this is a sign that we're getting too old for recreational basketball. Yeah.
or you gotta like take it down a notch.
Yeah, yeah, we're playing old man basketball now. We're not running back on
Yeah,
defense.
exactly.
We just shooting. And yeah,
Exactly. You're going too hard, man.
yeah,
I feel that, man. I got to share two quick stories. One,
yeah.
talking about weird injuries. I ran track in 8th grade, and I was doing the 100-meter sprint. Um, it was like a time trial. We hadn't even like we weren't even competing yet. We were just seeing where everyone was at. First time trial practice, and I get out there and I bust it, and I'm just going as hard as I can, 100-meter sprint, right?
Yeah.
And this is the first time like I'm busting it as hard as I can, probably. And in the probably about halfway through, I feel a big pop in my hip, and I'm
Ooh.
like, what? Um, I mean, I didn't have time to think about it. Pop, pain, couldn't move my left hip anymore, and I'm like hopping to like stop because I'm going all out, so I'm like gonna destroy myself on the
Right.
track as I'm trying to slow down from whatever injury just happened. Luckily I didn't biff it, so I like slow down, hopping on one leg and just flop over, and I'm sitting there for like hours because my family is on a vacation in Hawaii.
Oh
Like
no.
my parents and both of my grandparents on both sides are all in Hawaii. So like all of my family's in Hawaii, and my babysitter isn't picking up, and I'm just sitting there for like 2 hours, and then finally an uncle came. An uncle picked up the phone and took me to the
Oh,
hospital. But what ended up happening, all that aside, is my hip tendon. I don't know which one. I don't think it was my hamstring. Maybe it was one of my tendons that connected to my pelvis. Pulled so hard on my pelvis that it fractured my pelvis.
whoa.
Like whack. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but that
Oh no.
yeah, I think the what? Super rare according to the doctor. He's like, that doesn't happen much. You probably need more calcium. And I'm allergic to milk, so they're like, maybe you don't have enough calcium in your life. But anyways,
Dang.
weird stuff.
Dang. Yeah, I couldn't imagine
Um,
my hips just popping like that. That's oh. Oof.
yeah, so my track career ended right there, and that's why on the show I've never said I was a track kid, because I really wasn't. I started and then I was out like immediately.
Just real quick. Dang.
Yep. If only I'd known that long distance was my real calling back then, maybe I
Right.
would have been a cross country guy. But
Yeah, it was so funny because
um,
when I was in middle school, our middle school cross country and distance coach, he was like, Diarra, you'd be a great distance runner. You should come out for the cross team. And I was like, oh no, I'm not running a mile or 2 miles. Like, oh no, you can miss me with that one. I'm good.
way too long. Is
Yeah,
cross country a mile and longer, or is it
I
like
think
a
they
5K and
do
longer?
a 5K in their
Yeah.
races. Yeah,
Okay.
which for me at that
Yeah. So
time, I would have thought 3 miles would have been an eternity.
yeah, I mean, same like when we started running, probably. Like you start running and you're like, a mile is so long, and then 3 miles is like, wow, that's so long. It's kind of crazy. Okay, it's big sidetrack. Thanks for
Oh yeah,
humoring me, everyone, on that weird story. I just had to share. Um, but we were at you destroying your
yeah,
Achilles, yeah, when
yeah.
you were playing basketball. And yeah, what did your sporting life look like between then and then when you picked up running?
So I thought I was done with sports because I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do anything. This is just gonna repop if I try it again. But I had some really good doctors and physical therapists that they knew I was an athlete, so they were just really focused on bringing me back so I can compete. So when I
Okay.
was healthy, my boss, he's actually a triathlete and trail runner as well. And he came up to me, he was like, "Hey
Sick.
man, if you don't want to play basketball anymore, we got these triathlons you can come join us with." And I was like, "All right, I've never swam long before mountain bike because it was an Xterra off-road triathlon. I was like, I'm sure I can learn and just win through it, find my way through it." So I
Uh-huh.
did before that I did a couple 5Ks. Yeah, I did two 5Ks, and then I just trained mountain biking and trail running and well, not trail running 'cause I didn't know anything about it at the time, but I just trained running, mountain biking, and swimming throughout the summer when I was healthy again.
This
And
was the summer of what year?
would have been
2021,
2022.
22.
Yeah.
Cool. And you're doing run, bike, swim.
Yep. Yep. And did that first
Okay.
triathlon out in Vale and almost
Okay.
died, but I was like, okay, that wasn't too bad. If I could
Right.
do this, I can go do anything.
Okay.
So,
How remind me and people listening how long each leg of the triathlon is.
so since this is an Xterra and off road, it's a little bit shorter than on road traditional triathlons.
Okay.
So we did a little bit over, maybe like a 3/4 of a mile swim because I was doing the sprint
Okay.
version. So we had 3/4 of a mile swim. The bike was 14 to 15 miles.
Okay.
But since it was off road, it was just insane. We gained to like 3,000 feet of elevation,
Oh,
some crazy curves, and straight down the ski resort. It was insane. I was like, what is going on?
dang.
And then the
Yeah.
run was only a little bit over a 5K.
Okay. That is, yeah, that is short.
But
Like
even the run, we gained,
relatively.
I think, 600 or 700 feet of vert in that 5K. So it was a
Yeah,
hefty one.
it sounds intense. Like you said, sprint. That sounds like you're like destroying yourself.
Yeah.
For how long did it take you? How
It took
long was
me
your
2.5, 240, yeah.
bro? That's a lot
Yeah.
in that time frame, dude.
So
That's
that's why I was like,
crazy.
after that, I was like, I can go do
Ooh.
anything.
Yeah,
Yes.
seriously.
Signed up for some 10Ks and did my first road half marathon. And I think I did my first half marathon in an hour 45. So I was like,
Oh,
okay, that's not
dude.
too bad for somebody that's never ran before and never done over a 10K.
Yeah, that's super good. Road half, you said?
Yeah. And that was all
Nice.
2022.
Okay.
And then after that half marathon, I really wanted to try a trail race. I kept hearing so much fun about it, all the good things, aid stations, all that stuff. All right, let me see if I can find one
Yeah.
close to home. And
Yeah.
I found this backcountry half marathon, maybe like an hour away, right outside of Denver. And I got humbled very, very quick. I was like, "Oh, this is what trail running is. What the heck?"
Yeah. Uh, explain. Why was
um,
that so was it the vert? Did it kill you
I
or
think it was
what
just the
happened?
rolling hills. Like there was just no
Okay.
flat. It was just all
Yeah.
up or down, or
Dang.
switchbacks, and you're going up. I'm like, what is going on?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds intense.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, trail running. Yeah, there's the easy trails that are like the bottom of the canyon that are like a super steady incline, and then there's
right.
like the real mountain trail, trail running where it's like,
Yeah,
oh man, straight up.
yeah. So after that, I was like, you know what? I want to rematch with the trails because I know I can do better than that. And it was wintertime. It was like November, so there wasn't really anything going on. So I was on Google looking up like trail races, maybe within 4 or 5 hours from Colorado Springs, and a bunch of ultras popped up in Moab. And I'm on a computer. I'm like, what the hell is an ultra marathon? Like, never heard of this. And I started watching YouTube and Googling it, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is insane, but it looks like so much fun. So I signed up for the Triple Crown series out in Moab. So Arches, Red Hot, and Behind the Rocks.
Yes, dude,
And
that's
yeah.
my stomping grounds. Let's go. I mean, I haven't done those races, but I know Moab. Moab's Utah, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
came over.
I'm always in
Let's
Utah.
go. Let's
Actually, I'm wearing
go.
my Dead Horse Ultra shirt right now.
Dude, there's that, but that wasn't part of the. Was that part of the Triple
It's
Crown?
part of it, but that was way after I already found out what ultras were.
Okay, so that race was made later, or
It's before, so it like kicks off the Triple Crown.
oh, and you missed that one,
Yeah, because
or
that one's in
yeah,
November, and I
okay,
was just doing a half
yes,
marathon. Yeah,
that's right. Oh my goodness, but yeah, this race series happens during the winter,
yeah.
so you found it and you were like, okay, let's do this right now.
I was like, you know what? I'm ready for a marathon. Hell, what's 5 to 6 extra miles?
Yeah. Oh my
Oh yeah, I
goodness.
found out real quick.
But wait, and you hadn't done a marathon
Nope.
before. Yeah, but you're like, yeah, I can do a marathon, so I can do a 50K, which
Yeah.
is the first one. Which one of the three was your first?
I did Arches.
Arches first. Okay. Okay. That was awesome. I love that you just like looked it up and you're like, what is this? I'm sign. Did you sign up the night that you learned about it, or did you like
I kind of took some
think
time to
about it?
process it, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. Like that'd be just so badass. You can say that they ran 32 miles through mountains and desert and crazy
Yeah.
terrain, and
I love that. Um, did you have any like fears or hesitations when you were signing up?
I think I was excited, more excited than scared. And then I was
Okay,
just
you
really excited
believed.
to brag to people, like, I'm gonna go run 31, 32 miles in Utah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go do. They're like, what the hell?
Who
They're
is this guy?
like, why
I
can't you just stick
mean,
to a marathon?
that's awesome, man. I'm glad that you felt so jazzed and confident in yourself. And part of me wonders, tell me if I'm wrong, but do you think part of that confidence came from the triathlon? You killed this triathlon. You did the triathlon. I don't know where you placed or whatever, but you did something super hard. Did that like build your confidence in yourself to do hard
It
things?
did, because I was like, you know what? I did that try. This is another challenge in my life that if I can do this, I can check that off my book. But
Yeah,
after I did it, I just got hooked. I was like, oh no, this is so much fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think
you
my
haven't done. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna say I think I did maybe like 6 ultras, 7 ultras that first year I got started.
Wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's enough. Uh, I was gonna ask, you haven't done a triathlon since then, or have you?
No, not since. I've
Yeah,
just been
you're done
I
with those.
oh yeah. Well, I hated swimming portion. So like,
Yeah. That's
oh,
that's pretty much my problem with tries. It's like I don't want to swim for sure, and I don't want to road bike either.
right.
I'd maybe do mountain biking, but I like running. So anyway, that's cool, man. That's sick. Um, okay, what month was the um you said Arches
Yeah.
Ultra
Yeah, so that was
50K?
January of 23.
Okay, sick. So you got November to January
Yep. So I
to
was
train for
very
this.
undertrained.
Okay, yeah, because the longest distance you'd done at that point was how long?
Half marathon.
Half. On road.
No, that was the trail half.
That's right. You told me the trail half.
Yep.
Okay. So you'd done a trail half. This is a big difference. Okay. Yeah. Before we talk about how the 50K went, I'd love to know, like, if you can remember what kind of miles you're putting in a week training for that.
Yeah, so
If you were like even doing a training plan, some people just go for it. But yeah, do you remember?
yeah, I think at that time I was putting in about 40 to 50 miles a week.
Sick.
And
Okay,
um
that's a lot.
and I know right before, maybe like a month out from the race, I did one last long run. I was like, you know what? I have to get at least a marathon under my belt just to see what it feels like. And I think I
Yeah,
got to
on the
about 24 miles and I started feeling some like shin, calf strainish stuff starting to pop up. I'm like, okay, I think I'm overtraining now. I should probably cut it
yeah,
here, recover, rest, and then heal up anything I have before this race comes up.
yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And you'll have to let us know at the end of telling us your story about your 50K um if you felt like that was enough. I imagine that was enough. 40 to 50 miles is more than a 50K.
Yeah.
Um, like you're putting in more than a 50K every week, so that sounds like smart training there. Sounds like you're probably ready. Um, you did your taper, and well, were you trail running during that time because you're in Colorado and it's winter?
So the
Um,
front range, we rarely, this was probably the heaviest year of snow we got this year, but we rarely get snow on the front range. Well, down here in Colorado Springs where I'm at. So
okay,
usually wintertime's like 50 degrees and nice and sunny, and you'll get your occasional snow where you won't be able to get on the trail for a day or two, but other than that, it's pretty clear.
dang. Well, that's sweet.
Oh yeah, yeah, we lucked out down here. Now Denver and Boulder, completely different story. They just get
Yeah.
destroyed with snow nonstop.
Huh. And 23, yeah, was the crazy year.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was like Utah got freaking dumped and it was amazing for skiing.
yeah.
But
Because I remember
yeah,
going up
not
to do my races. They were like, "Yeah, normally it's like 70 degrees. This is weird because it was 30 degrees and snowing." And there was ice and snow and mud on the trails. They're like, yeah, this is not normal for a Moab race.
Dude, for your Moab race, there
Oh
was
yeah,
snow
yeah. It was actually
in
snowing
Arches.
at the start of Arches.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. So now just give us the whole shading dong. Give me the whole the whole story
Yeah.
from like, you wake up, what you ate for breakfast, whatever, how you're feeling through when you started the race to the end, to when you crossed the finish line. How was your first 50K here at Arches? And also before you start,
Yeah.
what is the vert of that race?
So I want to say it was about 35 to 4,000. So not too crazy.
Okay.
It's a real runnable course.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way to start, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, without crazy vert. But is it pretty sandy?
Oh, very, very sandy.
Cool. I'm
That's what
sure
will
that
get
may
you.
be mentioned because that's pretty
Sand,
tough.
slick rock, that'll just beat your legs up. It's like, oh my God, I've never felt that before.
Okay, sick. Thanks for answering. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. What's the story, man?
Yeah. So yeah, I woke up that morning and I just couldn't stop saying like I can't believe I'm about to do this. I can't believe I'm about to do this. And all my friends they were there because they I didn't want to go out there alone, and they all signed up for the half marathon just so they can help me if I needed anything or needed
Oh,
some
that's sick.
support or help drive home the next day and stuff like that. And so we get there, and I'm meeting some people that I've been talking to on social media beforehand because it's a lot of our first 50Ks. So we're taking pictures and trying to just calm ourselves down. And of course, it's
Seriously.
like 25, 30 degrees and snowing. And I'm like, okay, is this normal for Utah? I thought Utah was hot and dry. But I didn't
What the
ask
heck?
any question. I was just like, all right, let's just get to the start line and let's see what I can do.
Dude, were your shoes like waterproof or anything or just
They were, I want to say that a little bit of Gore-Tex on them.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. I would be worried like personally like the things that would be going through my head would be like crap, my shoes are going to get soaked and
right,
mudded and destroyed.
right.
Cool.
But yeah, got to the start, and as soon as it started, my nerves kind of calmed down a bit, and I was still running with a few people I was talking to on Instagram beforehand, which one of them is actually one of my teammates now, which is crazy. And
Um your teammate on
Speedland.
oh,
Yeah, so we're
what is
both we're on the Speedland ambassador team.
what is that? I don't even know what that is.
So it's a new trail running company, a shoe company out of Portland.
Oh, what?
Yeah, yeah, they make so it's like the first hyper performance trail running shoes.
Sick.
So like
And
carbon,
you're a what for them? An
um,
ambassador?
yep, ambassador for 'em.
Sick. Okay. No, explain what are their shoes? I want to know.
Oh yeah, so yeah, they're yeah so they're the first hyper performance trail shoes. They optional removable carbon plate, midsoles, high end Pevex foam. Michelin does our outsoles, so they last for like 800 to 1,000 miles, and just the most like best grip you can get out there.
Ooh.
And then we
Are
don't
they
use laces.
plush?
Oh, are they
Are
what?
they like are they plushy like like the Hoka squishy bouncy
So it's
sort
got
of
some
shoe or are they
bounce,
more like
but
a
just like not over, not little, just like just the right amount.
sick? Sick.
Yep, I actually got them right here. Just took them off. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see them. Oh
Yeah, so
my
it's got the
goodness.
boa dials. Yeah, so you don't have to tie your
Oh
shoes
yeah.
anymore. And we're the only ones with the multi-directional, so you don't have to pop them. You can just dial it back and it'll adjust for your little, like I think millimeter increments. Yeah, yeah. And
That's
you got
super
the
nice, man.
removable midsole that you can put an optional carbon plate in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you
And
just
that
take the sole out and it goes right there on the bottom. And you just kind of clip it in and you just put it right back in.
do you have the carbon plates?
Yeah, yeah, they're yeah, right over
If you don't
here.
have to grab them.
Yeah, you grab it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sorry for those that are probably listening to this as an audio podcast. You will not be seeing these beautiful plates, but
Yeah, so
I
here's
can.
the carbon plate that you can put on the inside. It's got a
Okay,
little give this way, but this way you can tell it's
not that
definitely a
way.
little sturdy. Yeah, so it's
Now,
pretty
what's the
lightweight.
purpose of that again?
So it gives you a little bit more stability, more snap. So if you're doing like a faster race, the carbon plate you can definitely feel they give you a little bit more snap and help you out with your pace a little bit more.
Huh? Is
And
there a
then,
drawback?
not really.
Uh, yeah. Okay.
And then I
Okay.
find it's really useful too. Like if you're doing like a real technical course, and I mean the shoes itself is pretty thick. You're not really gonna feel any of the rocks or boulders when you're going over. But I usually put this in if I'm doing anything super technical and fast, and
Yeah.
just glide on through them.
Sick, man. Well, thanks for what's the brand called again?
Speedland,
Speedland.
yeah,
Speedland, Portland, Oregon. Check them out. That is a not sponsored ad placement.
yep,
Uh,
yeah.
we are. I'm not affiliated, but Diarra is, and that's great.
And
So
the shoes sell out fast, and they do not remake them. So once they're gone,
yeah,
they're gone.
yo, Diarra. After this, share with me your affiliate link, and
Yeah,
we'll stick it in the show notes. That's sick, man. Um, okay,
but yes,
and we are back. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yes, yeah, I was running with so his name is Wes, and me and him, we probably did the first 10 to 13 miles together. But we're maybe pushing 8.5, 9 minute pace for the first half marathon, and that was not my
Holy
goal.
moly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was not my goal. I was like, I was looking more like 10, 11 minute pace, just kind of just survive this thing since it's my first time. And that's when I asked him, I was like, so how long have you guys been training for this? They're like, oh, since like last June, last July, for 6, 7 months. I'm like, oh, I've only been going for like a month and a half. So you guys go ahead, you know what you're
Uh,
doing. I'm just gonna stick back here and just fight my way through.
yeah. So you
Yes,
slow yourself down,
yeah, I
take it
slowed
easy.
myself down and was just out there enjoying the day, and the next thing I'll catch a nasty cramp in my leg at like mile
Ooh.
20, 21-ish.
Oh shoot.
And I was like, oh God, I've never felt this before. Like, what do I do? So I just started hiking it out and tried to
Okay.
run, and I'd run maybe like quarter, half mile, then the cramp would come back, then I would have to walk again, and
Ooh.
it hurt.
And your calf, you said?
Yeah.
Dang. Good time to ask. Um, were you doing like sodium-y stuff?
I had
Like
electrolytes, but they didn't have enough
yeah.
sodium in it that I
Oh, is
needed.
that what?
Yeah.
So how much were you taking? I'm just
So
curious
I think that
if
one
you
maybe
remember.
had 300 milligrams of sodium.
And how often did you take it?
I refilled pretty often. So about every aid station, I was making sure to refill.
Yeah. I was like, how often was each aid station?
Yeah,
I'm
like
a math guy.
6 to 8 miles each.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, you're like you said mile 20 something. You experienced that. So
Yeah,
you're
about
like at
mile.
600. Go ahead.
Yeah, about like 21, 22 is when I started feeling the cramp, and went
Okay.
away after a while, but then came back right before the finish line.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad it went away for a little bit. And okay. Okay. Sick. Carry on. You hit the cramping. How was it until you
Oh,
got to the finish line? Like
yeah, so
any
that
other things happen?
went up some crazy climbs that were just snowy and muddy and technical. And at that point, I was just like, am I going to want to do ultra running ever again? Like, this is absolutely insane. Like, the conditions are wild. This course is wild. The distance is crazy. Like, I don't know if signing up for these races were a smart idea. And all that was
Yeah.
just going through my head. But once I finished, I was like, you know what? That actually wasn't terrible. And if I actually train right and train more and get more time under my belt, then maybe this can be a little bit more comfortable for me.
Uh-huh.
So luckily, the race in February had got canceled because of crazy snow and ice, which is very yeah.
Right.
So
Dang.
that gave me a little bit more time because I was doing the 50 miler for Behind the Rocks, so I can get the full Triple Crown.
Dang. Before we get to there, I'm curious how you felt at the finish line
Oh,
of your
defeated.
50K. Like, yeah, like physically, and then yeah, emotionally. How'd you feel?
Oh, physically, emotionally, mentally, I was just out of it. I was done, defeated. Just take me out right there.
Okay. So like, it wasn't like a beautiful moment. It was like a oh my gosh, I'm finally done sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, there's a picture of some random older guy just helping me massage all the cramps out, and I'm just on the ground just screaming in pain. Yeah.
Oh, dang, dude.
Yeah, it was
Dang, that's
not an
gnarly.
ideal finish. I was just like, just get me back to the Airbnb. I want to sit in a hot tub, eat, and just pass out.
Shoot. Were you eating during the race too?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one thing I've never had a problem with is eating during the races.
sick. Okay, but yeah, just like probably the training, like you said, like you didn't give yourself a ton of lead time
No.
for training.
No, not at all.
Yeah, yeah, building the base. Yeah, that's an important thing. Dang,
Yeah.
but you made it. So like, did you feel like triumphant, sort of?
The day after I felt just great. I was like, wow, I can't believe I actually did that. Like I never in a million years would have thought I was be running 31, 32 miles.
Let's go.
And I
I'm
was like,
glad.
nice, if I can do that, all right, just 20 more miles and Behind the Rocks. And
Dude, yeah, so what does that 50 miler look like? Altitude,
so
or
it's
not,
a
yeah, like, or
6,500
gain.
feet of gain course, and it's
Okay.
all at the back half.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah. So the first 25 miles, I think you maybe gain up 500 to 1,000 feet. That's it.
Seriously?
Because it's
Oh,
all
boo.
downhill, and you're going through the canyon, and you go down Jacob's Ladder, and you run around. But then
Ooh.
you got to come all the way back up Jacob's Ladder, and that's what starts your 25-mile death march back up to the finish line.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so yeah, that last 25 miles was a 6,000-foot climb, and it's just technical and sand and just, oh, it beats you down any kind of way.
Yeah, in these races, did you prefer the sand or the slick rock?
That's a tough question. Oh, neither if we could, but
Neither.
yeah. But I
That's
think
fair.
maybe more slick rock because it kind of you start feeling it maybe around like mile 30, 35, and it's like, oh, my legs are really starting to get agitated right now. But
Yeah.
that sand just mentally just beats you. It is insane.
Yeah. Is that because it like sucks the power out of your stride?
Oh yeah, and especially when you're going on those climbs. Those climbs are not easy. So
Oh,
you're
good point.
climbing up, you're going through sand, there's boulders, and it's just like, oh my God.
You getting like sand in your shoes too, or do you have gaiters on?
No, I had a lot of sand in my shoes. It's one of those you just shake out and you can almost build a
Uh,
sandbox.
that's so annoying.
Yeah,
That kind of stuff drives me nuts. Whenever I get a rock in my shoe on the trail, I'm like, why?
right.
And then you empty it, and then 2 seconds later, you get another rock, and you're like,
Yeah.
I hate this so
And that's one thing I do like about our Speedland shoes. They have little holes for the rocks to kind of fall through, and then they get trapped at the bottom of the midsole. So
What?
you don't really feel too many of the rocks and pebbles anymore.
Oh, that's sick. Oh,
Yeah, like right when I was taking out my midsole there, just a bunch of little like loose gravel just fell out of the bottom of it.
that is sick.
I was like, oh, I forgot I was doing
Smart.
some gravel runs lately.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Okay, so what was the gap between your 50K and the 50 miler again?
So 50K was in January. The 50 miler was in March.
March, okay. And you had one in February, but it was canceled because
Yeah, snow
of
and ice,
snow.
and didn't want us falling off the cliff and dying out there. So,
Yeah, let's avoid that.
yeah,
Good. So what did you do differently between I mean, you probably needed to like relax for a little bit after your 50K. But so you could tell us about that and then what training looked like in between.
yeah. Kind of took about a week and a half off after the 50K, and then started training for the race in February, but that got canceled. So I was like, okay, this is kind of it sucks, but it's nice. It gives me another few weeks to actually really train for the 50 miler.
Yeah.
And nothing really changed too much. I added more distance. So I was doing maybe like 60 miles a week,
Hmm.
and changed up my electrolytes that I was using, and then was eating a little bit more just because I knew I was going to be out there for a very long time.
Hmm.
And yeah, got to the 50K day, 50 mile day, and my heart rate was higher than it's ever been at a start of a race because I was just like, I can't believe I'm going to go run 50 freaking miles in the middle of the desert of Utah. Like, what is wrong with me?
Seriously. What is wrong with us? Why do we do this?
Oh, and I was out there for 13 and a half hours for that first 50 miler. Yeah, I was barely making, I was like half an hour away from cutoff.
Holy moly.
Oh, yeah, I was going through hell and back out there. I got to every aid station after Jacob's Ladder, and I was just like, can I drop? Can you pull me? They're like, no, you're ahead of cutoff. Keep going, keep rolling. You got this. I'm like, oh, all
I
right.
hate you.
And I get to the next aid station, it's just like, how far am I ahead of cutoff? Can I drop? Can you take me? But they're like, no, man, you got this. Keep rolling. You're 15 minutes ahead. I'm like, why?
15 minutes ahead of cutoff?
Yeah.
Freak. And how many miles left are
That was
there at that point?
with maybe 15 miles left.
Okay. Yeah, you got 15 minutes ahead of the cutoff. It's fine.
And then, so I get to the next aid station, which was, I want to say, maybe the last aid station. Yeah, the final aid station, which was a 10K to the finish line. And I get there and it was just like, I didn't make cutoff, did I? You're like, no, bro, you're like 30, 40 minutes ahead. You got it. Just roll. And I was like, oh my God, okay, here I go. So I kind of tagged along with another lady because I was just, my body was done. Like I looked like I was a ghost pretty much and didn't eat, looked like I hadn't eaten in like 2 weeks. And tagged along with the lady. She gave me a bag of Sour Patch Kids and kind of brought me back to life. And she looked at me and she was like, oh, we just have a 10K left. We eat this shit for breakfast. Come on, let's go. I was like, all right, this is gonna be the longest shuffling 10K of my life, but here we go.
And
And brought it on
how did it
home,
go?
and it was an ugly finish, but we finished.
Okay. How how was it when you reached the finish, just like the 50K, when you reached the finish line, physically and mentally, how we doing?
Physically, I was checked out. Mentally, I was very happy because I was just like, "Holy crap! I can't believe I completed it." Because they still gave us the Triple Crown if we ran an ultra or close to the distance in February to make up for that race. So I think I did like 20 to 25 miles to kind of like make up for that race, and then I did the 50 miler. So they still gave us the Triple Crown.
Oh, nice,
And
dude.
so I think I was just really happy because I was getting my Triple Crown medal. I was getting the shirts, the hat, all the gear and stuff. And then she had told me that I was also the first black male to complete the Triple Crown out in Moab. So
Well,
that also
sick,
gave me
dude.
another boost of energy. I was just like, holy crap, I can't believe I did this. Like,
You're a first.
yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, she said there's been maybe one or two other guys that's gone out and done like one or two of the races, but they've never done the full series to get the Triple Crown.
Dang, man. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I was like, okay, maybe I can. be like the Jackie Robinson of ultra running and start getting some more guys out here.
Yes, seriously. Build the community, man. That's what this podcast is about. And
Right. Now I have like three solid guys so I'm part of another organization called Black Men Run.
yeah.
And I got about three of those guys now that they won't run anything but an ultra now. At first, they were
Perfect.
terrified because they would see my face and how it would come out at the end. It was just like, you look like you got beat up. We're not doing an ultra. But then
Well, that's why you have to.
right? But they did the 50 cap behind the rocks while I was doing the 50 miler. So that was their first ultra. And they fell in love with it. They were just like, you know what? We're done with road races. We're done with anything under 20 miles. We're not running. We're just going long, having fun, exploring. We're not going to race it. We're just going to go out and just enjoy ourselves and challenge ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Preach, man. Yeah, it's about challenging yourself, do hard things, prove to yourself that you can do hard things,
Right.
and also have an adventure. Like, it's a freaking fun, cool time to be like running through nature
Right.
wherever it is.
I was talking to somebody, I think yesterday, they were just like, you know what? It's actually kind of cool because there's a lot of places that trail running and ultra running that will take you that are just really beautiful and cool. And you can't see all that stuff in a car. So the fact that you're doing like 50 to 60 to 100 miles out there and just really seeing everything while you're on foot, like that makes it seem like it's just worth it. And it
It
is.
is.
You kind of forget that you're competing and you just zone out. You're just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here right now. Like this is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, preach, dude. I I think you've sold me on the Triple Crown.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it's fun. You got Mad Boost. They put on some great fun races, man.
I mean, look at your shirt. Like,
Right? Yeah.
those who can't see this shirt, it's like this dead horse, like a skeleton of a horse with a sombrero, a Mexican sombrero, and it looks ridiculously awesome,
Right.
dude. And
And the race
you got a
directors, Denise and Justin, nicest people in the world. Like it almost feels like I'm one of their sons. They're like a long lost cousin, or and they always reach out. They make sure you're okay. They don't pressure you to do all their races. It's really really nice and just laid back. And especially if you've never done an ultra before, they do some really really good beginner like introductory trail races.
sick, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing your stories, man. Finishing the Triple Crown and winning it, you got like individual medals probably for each of those races, and then like a Triple Crown
yeah.
separate medal after that.
Yep, yeah, you get a medal for Red Hot, Dead Horse, Arches, Behind the Rocks, and then you get like a really, really big, heavy one that says Triple Crown of Moab on it.
Yeah. And there's 4 races, but you just have to do 3 of them. Is that how that
Yep.
works?
And before
Sick.
they started the competitive factor, it used to be you have to do two 50Ks or a 50K, 55K, and you have to do a 50 miler to get the Triple Crown. But now since they added the competitive part for the 50K and like money and cash prizes and all that, now you just have to do three 50Ks.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
Right. Yes.
Lowers the barrier to entry a little
Right.
bit.
But you have to do behind the rocks. That's the thing.
Okay. That's a mandatory?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can do any two races, but behind the rocks is mandatory because it's the hardest course they have on the Triple Crown.
Well, great.
Yep.
And that's the 50 miler that you did.
Yep,
Um,
yep. And I did the 50K this year and still caught hell. It's just like, why do I keep coming back to this course? Like
what the heck? Um, can you do the 50 miler on any of the other?
Yeah.
You can?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Well, good to know. So we don't have to destroy ourselves quite as bad as you did if we
Right,
don't
yeah.
want to.
Yeah, I would say Arches and Dead Horse are probably the most friendliest 50 milers they have.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know, man. So, quick summary. What have you done since then, since finishing the Triple Crown,
Um,
and where are you headed?
so after that, I did another 50 miler called Ramparty here in Colorado Springs,
Okay.
and that was 2 months later in May. And drastic change because I've actually trained, I worked on nutrition, everything, and went from a 13 and a half hour 50 miler to a 9.5 hour 50 mile. Right? Yeah.
That's a lot.
Oh
Holy
yeah. I
cow.
was I was expecting maybe 10 and a half, 11 hours. I was telling everybody, yeah, don't come until like 5, 6 o'clock. Next thing you know, they were tracking me. They were like, holy hell, he is moving. We got to get to the race before he finishes. And yeah, I was not
Dang.
expecting to be going that fast. I just felt great. And it was like pretty much it's right out pretty much my backyard. I could have walked to the start line.
Yeah. Sick.
And
And what else have you done?
so I did that. I did the Great Divide 100K out here in Colorado as well. That was a month later. And I think my body was trying to tell me something because I caught some IT issues.
Okay.
So I dropped down to the 50K
Okay.
and finished that one. And then I took some time off to kind of heal everything up. And then I went and did the Grand Traverse 40 miler, which is from Crested Butte to Aspen. And then I did Javelina 100. That was my first attempt at a 100 miler.
Yeah.
And
Where is that again?
right outside of Scottsdale, Arizona.
Dude, when is it? Too.
Halloween weekend. So it was still blistering hot out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's in my head. I'm like,
Yeah, I think it was like 90 degrees last year. It was, and no trees, just straight exposed.
oh, attempt.
Yeah. DNF, I got to about 40, and both my legs locked up to where
Oh,
I couldn't walk, I couldn't run, I couldn't move or anything. I was on the side of the trail at one point on my back, just screaming in pain. And two guys kind of had to come over and like rub my calves out and quads, and you could just see everything just pulsing. That's how bad it was. So I was
ooh,
like, okay, maybe I
probably.
can make it to the aid station, rest for like 15, 20 minutes because I was way ahead of cutoff. And I was like, then maybe it'll be fine. So I started resting. Nothing got better. And it was just so hot that I started throwing up. And I was like, you know what? If I'm
Oh,
throwing up right now and I can't walk or run, I should probably call it because I'll die out here in this desert. So I took that
good
DNF
call.
and just trying to learn from that. So I did a redemption 50 miler about a month later just because I was still pissed off about that DNF. And that's when I did Dead Horse out in Moab
Okay.
and finished that in 9 hours and 35 minutes. And I was just like, okay, well, if I can do this 50 miler here, what the heck happened in Arizona? But I think it was the same thing, just too many races close to each other. And then
Yeah.
after that, I did a 30-hour endurance run on my 30th birthday this past February. And I knocked out 80 miles and came in fifth or sixth place overall. And conditions for that were just awful. It was like 6 inches of snow. It was 15 degrees through the night, ankle deep mud. It was just wild.
Dang, man. You have cranked these out. You
Yeah. And
got
then I
tons.
did, yeah, then after that, Behind the Rocks 50K this past March. And then I went out to Oregon and went for Gorge Waterfalls 100K. And same thing, I think just too many races back to back, not giving myself time to recover or anything. My legs locked up, and I actually ended up getting rhabdo in the middle of the race.
Ooh,
Yeah.
which is when your something fails. Can't remember.
Kidneys were failing. There was protein in my blood, and my pancreas levels shot up.
So you went to the hospital?
Yeah. They rushed me to the hospital because they did an EKG on me down there on site. And I guess rhabdo throws off your heart rhythm. So it looked like I was having a heart attack.
Oh, freak.
So they called an ambulance and they rushed me to the hospital immediately.
And that is a drinking water issue, right? Like
Um,
I get or like And staying hydrated
recovery
and
and
eat.
more recovery and eating. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
It's funny you mentioned rhabdo because I had um, Dave from Chase the Summit on YouTube. He was on the podcast a few months ago, and he had rhabdo during his 100 miler. He got it, had to drop, but I think he told me it's because it was super hot, and he like couldn't get enough water. Like he kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, and it just wasn't enough.
See, I was
I don't
drinking
know.
like a fish and eating like crazy, but my body was not recovered, especially even after that 30 hour, because I turned around and did that 50K. So my body
Yeah.
didn't even recover from the 30 hour. And then after the 50K, there was only 3 weeks in between that and gorgeous.
Oh god.
Yeah. So my body was just like, you know what? We're gonna stop right here, and you're gonna learn a lesson.
You need to take it easy, Diarra. You gotta have
Yeah.
some breaks.
So I realized I was like, okay, you know what? I'm only gonna do maybe 3 to 4 of these big races a year, space them out pretty well, and then do some like shorter, like 25Ks, 30Ks, and stuff like that in between, and not don't do another ultra to train for an ultra. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Oh dang.
I'm learning, but had to learn the hard way.
Yeah. Are you recovered and well since rhabdo?
Yeah, it's been about 2.5 weeks now, and body feels back normal. I've been going on short, like 5 to 6 mile runs, and pretty
Okay.
easy pace, more like 9.5, 10 minute pace, and just getting everything back to normal how it was.
Yeah. Oh man. Sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's okay. I got to see all the beauty before it happened. I got to see all the waterfalls and views and everything beforehand, but yeah, I knew
Dang.
something was off. Once I couldn't get my body temperature up, I was just shaking like the whole time, and I didn't know what was going. I was like, okay, I never felt like this, so I knew something was wrong.
Yeah. Yep. The shaking. Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes, I was hospitalized for 3 days. Yeah, 3 days out in Oregon and Washington area. And they wanted to keep me a couple more, but I was like, no, I need to get back to Colorado. Like, I promise I'll go to urgent care when I get back, but I just want to get home, be closer to my friends and support and job and everything else where people can actually come and take care of me if I needed it.
Yep. That's smart. Um, and what do you have planned for this year?
So I was originally going to do Sedona Canyons 125 next month, which well actually is next week.
uh,
So I think that yeah, my body definitely knew what was going on. They're just like, you're not doing that 125 miler. You're resting and recovering, and we're going to get you ready for the next one.
uh,
So I'm either going to
okay.
do the Hood 100 back out in Oregon in August, or I'll do Chase the Moon, which is a 12-hour overnight endurance run here in Colorado,
Okay.
and
Sick,
that's
dude.
end of July. And then going back for Redemption in Javelina in October, and
Get it
threw in
done.
the Pikes Peak Marathon in mid-September.
Dang, dude. You are the example of someone who got bit by the ultramarathon bug, man.
Yep.
You you're taken. You're gone.
Yeah.
Don't burn yourself out, man.
I
Holy,
know. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
why
know.
I'm learning now. Okay, maybe 3 or 4 of these races a year, and then yeah, do the shorter stuff in between.
Yeah, man, but that's inspirational, dude. It's it's cool how you just believed in yourself and you went and got them done, and you've done a frick ton of ultramarathons in like a year and a half, maybe
Yeah.
2 years. Like,
I'm looking at
jeez,
my wall full of bibs, and I'm like, this is just from a year and a half, 2 years of racing. Like, this is
it's
crazy.
it's like you've been doing this for years.
Oh yeah, and people ask me like, "Oh, have you been running your whole life?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, I'm still a baby at this stuff. Like, any
Yeah,
advice, any tips you can give me, I'll take it because I'm like a sponge right now.
yeah. Well, Diarra, um, wrapping up today. What advice would you give somebody who is just starting out? They're considering signing up for their first 50K, maybe 50 miler. They've never done an ultra before. What advice would you give that person?
I'm gonna say train well, but don't overtrain. Um, Make sure you're hydrated all the time and eating way more than you should be because you're just gonna burn it off anyways. Um, and don't be terrified of the distance. Just go out, think of it as a fun adventure with maybe 200 to 500 other people. Go out, think you're gonna make some new friends, and just enjoy being in the moment and enjoy what you're doing at that time because not everybody has the abilities or resources to do what we're doing. So definitely just go out there and just have fun. And that's one thing I preach about is just go have fun. Even if you're competing, just go have fun.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Oh, no, yeah.
Thanks. Thank you for the tips. Thank you for sharing your story here, for taking the time, man. Because I mean, you were there before. You may have had some hesitations or worries about your first ultra, and it's a big thing. And I just appreciate you giving back and sharing your story to help make it easier for others.
No, I appreciate you having me on the show where I can share everything.
Yeah, man. Well, check out the show notes, folks. Too. We'll stick maybe Diarra's Strava in there and any other links he wants to share with us. Maybe
For sure.
the affiliate link from his trail running shoes that sound freaking awesome, and any other, maybe the organization you mentioned, the Black Men Running group. What'd you call that again?
Yeah, Black Men Run.
Yeah, sick, man. I'd
Oh,
love to
yeah.
have you share that too.
Yeah,
We can
nationwide
spread.
group, chapters in every
Yeah,
major city pretty much. So if you're looking for
let's
a cool
go.
chapter to go run with, you don't have to be black or male either. It's just a name. But yeah, you can go out there and make new friends, make new connections, and like I said, just go have some fun.
Cool, cool, dude. Well, thanks again. Appreciate your time.
Oh, anytime. Thank you.
Hey, your host Brendan here. I just wanted to thank you personally for listening to today's episode. As someone preparing for my own first ultramarathon, I've found these conversations to be super valuable, and I hope they are for you as well. Whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or somewhere else, make sure to follow or subscribe so you know when the next episode comes out. Also, make sure you check out the show notes of this episode. There's a link to sign up for the Ordinary to Ultra email newsletter, to join our Facebook and Strava groups where you can meet other people striving to run their first ultra marathon, and see any links that our guests may have provided as well. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next episode.